Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to The Horror Mine, where we talk about mysteries, thrillers, and horror movies. I'm your host, Vic Shy, and this week, my friends, I'll be going over Saw 2. Released in 2005, Saw 2 was directed by Darren Lynn Bousman, who would later return to direct Saws 3 and 4, and the most recent entry in the franchise, Spiral, from the Book of Saw. I'll be going over the events that take place throughout the film, and explaining the crazy ending, as well as some things you may have missed the first time around. If you enjoy this video, make sure to click the like button as it really helps the channel and I truly appreciate it. But without further ado, sit back and relax and join me as we explore the twisted death games in Saw 2. Our movie begins with a death trap called the Venus Flytrap. Our victim's name is Michael Marks, a police informant who, according to Jigsaw, is
unworthy of the body you possess, of the life that you've been given.
Gee, Jigsaw.
Tell us how you really feel.
You know what?
Michael has a metal death mask around his neck that will shut on his face in 60 seconds unless he locates the key and frees himself. Sounds simple enough, right? Well, no. The key has been surgically planted directly behind his eye, which he must cut out to escape the trap. Jigsaw is forcing Michael to remove his eye, which he uses to spy on others as an informant. Kind of like the way Jigsaw had to spy on Michael to find that out in the first place. This trap is designed after the medieval torture device called the Iron Maiden. After yelling "no" and "help me" a bunch of times, Michael runs out of time and the mask closes on his face. The man in the iron mask is a lot darker than I remember. We meet the film's main character, Detective Eric Matthews, portrayed by Donnie Wahlberg. Eric picks up his son Daniel after he was caught stealing from an electronics store, apparently located on a boat. Eric has apparently lost custody of Daniel and doesn't have the best relationship with him.
I think I should go back to Mom's.
Well then go!
He is called out to the scene of Michael's death by Detective Allison Carey. He seems disinterested at the death of his informant until he sees that he has specifically been called out by Jigsaw. The writing on the wall helps Eric find a clue on the death mask that leads the police to Jigsaw's whereabouts at the Wilson Steel plant. Eric and Carey join a SWAT team led by Sergeant Daniel Rigg. Two of the officers are electrocuted and one seriously injured when he steps on a booby trap that breaks both of his legs. The second team makes their way inside and we see possible early designs of traps used in Saws 3 and 6. They come face to face with Jigsaw himself, John Kramer, brilliantly portrayed by Tobin Bell, who is one of the best parts of the Saw series. Eric discovers a set of monitors that looks like your dad's stream setup back in the day. He notices his son Daniel on one of the monitors and realizes that he has been abducted by Jigsaw. Jigsaw tells them that Daniel has 2 hours to live before he dies from the poisonous gas in his system.
Oh yes. There will be blood.
Daniel is trapped in a room along with 7 other people: Jonas, Xavier, Addison, Laura, Abby, Gus, and Amanda, a Jigsaw survivor who escaped the reverse bear trap in the previous film. Realizing that she has once again been captured by Jigsaw, she freaks out and begins looking around the room for clues. She finds a tape recorder hidden behind bricks which contain a message from Jigsaw.
Welcome. I trust that you are all wondering where you are.
The message reveals that they have all been breathing in a deadly nerve agent from the moment they arrived. Jigsaw references the 1995 Tokyo subway attacks, hinting that they are breathing in sarin, an extremely deadly nerve agent. They will all die in 2 hours unless they find the antidotes hidden throughout the house. One of the antidotes is located in the safe in the middle of the room. He says they all possess the combination to the safe.
Think hard. The numbers are in the back of your mind.
All of them have something in common, which is directly related to the reason they are here. Gus and Xavier are Jigsaw game noobs and go directly against the advice of a note saying not to use this key on that door, which leads to this. Amanda reveals to the group that she is a Jigsaw survivor and that he is not a serial killer.
He's testing us.
us. He wants us to survive this.
Eric is very distraught watching the event unfold inside the house from the monitors. Rick says that he is calling a tech team to find out the location where the feed is coming from. Jigsaw tells Eric that all he wants is a bit of his time and to speak with him alone. He tells Eric that if he agrees to sit down and speak with him, he will see his son again.
If you agree to that, then you will see your son again.
Eric threatens Jigsaw with violence if he doesn't find Daniel. Rig wants to beat the information off a wheelchair-bound John Kramer, but Carrie believes that Eric should do as he asks and speak with him. She has been working on the Jigsaw case from the very beginning and is possibly the most knowledgeable person on the subject. She convinces Eric to speak with John, and we learn that she and Eric had an affair, which led to his divorce and the losing custody of his son. Back inside the house, the door to the room opens on its own, revealing that it was on a timer, showing that while they are on a time constraint, they must still exercise patience and caution to survive. They are released into the house and go look for the antidotes that they desperately need. An emotional Eric agrees to sit down and speak to John, hoping it will help him get his son back. John tells him the rules are simple. All he needs to do is talk to and listen to him.
If you do that long enough, then you will find your son in a safe and secure state.
John says that he doesn't like the name Jigsaw, a nickname created for him by the media and police. He explains that the jigsaw pieces he cuts from his subjects symbolize that they are missing the survival instinct. He believes this to be a vital piece of the human puzzle, and those who fail to survive his tests are considered unworthy of the life they possess. This is, in my opinion, a very flawed ideology. John believes that his actions are just and righteous. He claims to never have murdered anyone and that all his subjects have a choice, when in reality, Jigsaw is forcing the hands of his victims and causes them to commit self-harm and, in Amanda's case, murder in order to survive. A very obvious theme in this film is that Jigsaw believes that the justice system has failed due to its corruption. John Kramer is pretty much at a standoff with law enforcement throughout this entire film, believing that he is bringing justice by taking matters into his own hand. John hints that Eric used to be a corrupt police officer who abused his power, which is why he is being tested. The subjects inside the house establish a possible connection that they have all done some kind of jail or prison time. The back and forth between Xavier and Addison also hints that they may know each other outside these walls. Laura finds a hidden door to a basement that holds a game specifically for Obby.
This is an Obi.
Hello there.
The tape recorder reveals that Obby was responsible for the abduction of everyone except himself and must retrieve 2 antidotes from inside of an oven.
Once you are in hell, only the devil can help you out.
Obby goes inside the oven and grabs one of the antidotes. However, the second one is attached to a chain that closes the oven shut when he pulls on it. Things start to get a little hot for Obby, who needs to crawl through the fire and twist a valve on the other side in order to escape. Xavier smashes a small glass window, but it is too small for Obby to climb through and he burns to death. Since Obby failed his test, the group is now short 2 antidotes, which should be fine given that Obby and Gus are dead and won't be needing them. Jigsaw wonders why Eric is so desperate to get Daniel back and reminds him of the last thing he said to his son.
I think I should go back to Mom's.
Well, then go!
How did John know that? He was hiding in plain sight as that old man fishing in the background. John reveals that he tried to take his own life by driving himself off a cliff after he was diagnosed with cancer by none other than Dr. Lawrence Gordon. His failed suicide attempt brought new perspective and meaning to his life, which led him to become the Jigsaw we all know and love.
Those who don't appreciate life do not deserve life.
Of all the people in the house, Laura's condition appears to be the worst. Amanda tells Daniel that she was originally tested by Jigsaw because of her drug addiction. She is being tested again because she started cutting herself after the incident. They find a room with a pit of needles in the center. The test is for Xavier, and he has less than 3 minutes to find the key to the metal door hidden inside the needle pit.
It will be like finding a needle in a haystack.
Xavier is revealed to be a drug dealer, and this test is supposed to inflict the same amount of pain and hope he gives to his buyers by selling them drugs. He takes the coward's way out, and instead of jumping in there himself, he tosses Amanda into the pit. He is absolutely despicable. Not only does he throw Amanda into the pit in his place, but she finds the key and he doesn't reach the door in time to open it. With 30 minutes left on the clock, Eric gets desperate and begins destroying Jigsaw's work, hoping that it will get him to reveal Daniel's location. location. John is unfazed and reveals just how corrupt Eric is. He gunned down an unarmed suspect and planted evidence to gain convictions.
Sort of person whose wife leaves him and whose son hates him.
We learn that everyone in the house was wrongly convicted thanks to Eric, who planted evidence to get them put away, making it extremely dangerous for Daniel if they find out who he is. Xavier discovers that the combination to the safe is written on the back of all their necks. He murders Jonas with the spiked bat and goes after the rest of the group for their numbers. The numbers are written in different colors and their order corresponds with the colors of the rainbow.
The clue to their order can be found over the rainbow.
An extremely weak Laura points out a framed picture with a crack shaped like an X. Behind the frame is a picture of Daniel and Eric, revealing him as his son. Laura's condition worsened much faster than the others and she dies from the poison in Amanda's arms. Amanda discovers Jonas's dead body and Xavier begins chasing her and Daniel knife in hand. Eric desperately watches on the monitor as his son's situation becomes more drastic. He grows tired of the games and decides to beat the information out of Jigsaw, breaking a few bones along the way. Addison wanders off on her own and finds a room with an antidote inside a glass box. She immediately sticks both of her hands inside the box to reach for the syringe. She quickly realizes her mistake as she attempts to pull her arms out. However, razor-sharp blades begin cutting into her arm. An early draft of this trap was shown on a drawing in an earlier scene. Addison failed to inspect the entire trap and didn't see that there was a lock to the box directly behind it with the key already inside, which would have given her instant access to the antidote. She would have possibly gotten a hint about that, but didn't even bother listening to the tape. Xavier sees the trapped and wounded Addison, looks at the number on the back of her neck, and leaves her to bleed to death. After being beaten to a pulp, John tells Eric that he will take him and no one else to the house. Eric is in an extremely emotional state and doesn't consider that he is possibly being led into a trap. The pair get onto an elevator and the rest of the officers are unable to catch up to them. As Eric is driving to the house, his GPS experiences technical difficulties and is a little delayed in giving directions.
Where to now?
Straight ahead.
At the same time, the tech team finally tracks the location of the computer feed to the wrong house. Amanda and Daniel barricade themselves in the original room and find a hidden door underneath the safe. Eric arrives at the house and is given a key by Jigsaw to go inside. Xavier chases Amanda and Daniel into the bathroom from the first film. We see the dead bodies of Zepp and unfortunately Adam, who did not manage to escape the bathroom like Dr. Gordon. However, Adam's left foot was chained in the first film and his right foot now appears to be chained. Daniel passes out and Xavier tells Amanda he just wants the numbers on the back of their necks.
You still don't know your own number. How are you gonna get it if I don't die?
In a gruesome scene, Xavier proceeds to slice the skin from his own neck to obtain his number. He approaches Amanda with the knife and is suddenly sliced in the throat with a saw by Daniel, who faked passing out. Eric enters the bathroom and sees Xavier's dead body, but Amanda and Daniel are nowhere to be found. Carrie realizes that the monitors weren't actually a live feed, but playing a recording of events that already happened the entire time. Eric is lured by a hand sticking out of the bathtub and is attacked by a pig mask assailant who jabs him with a needle, putting him to sleep. The countdown clock finally reaches 0 and Daniel emerges safe and sound from the inside of a safe. Eric wakes up in the bathroom and now finds himself chained by his right leg. He finds a tape recorder with a message recorded by Amanda, who reveals herself as being Jigsaw's apprentice the entire time. After surviving the reverse bear trap, Jigsaw took Amanda under his wing, but she began cutting herself. He believed she needed to be tested again and had her take part in Eric's game, as she also went to prison because of his corruption. Her job throughout the game was not only to oversee its progress, but to ensure that Daniel made it out alive. Amanda was the only one not coughing and did not appear weak like the others the entire time. The whole game stemmed from Eric's corruption, and all of the subjects inside the house were merely pawns in his game. John clearly told Eric the rules of his game from the beginning. All he had to do was sit down and speak to John until the 2-hour countdown ran out. If he did that,
Then you will find your son in a safe and secure state.
which he meant quite literally. Eric's game was not only testing his patience, but to see if he cared enough about his own son to do the right thing. He not only failed to follow the rules, but played right into what got him tested by Jigsaw in the first place. By putting the beat down on Jigsaw, Eric resorted to his corrupt ways, which led him to the position he now finds himself. Having failed Jigsaw's test, Eric now finds himself as Amanda's first test subject.
It is I who will carry on John's work after he dies.
In the film's final scene, Amanda slams the door to the bathroom shut as Eric vows he is going to kill her. The camera slowly pans out from a bloody John Kramer as the movie ends. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was Saw 2. For as long as I can remember, Saw 2 has been one of my least favorite entries in the franchise. However, upon rewatching the film for the making of this video, I have come to really appreciate this film and believe it to be a solid sequel to the original. This film does a good job setting up the story for Saws 3 and 4, which I hope to be covering on the channel very soon. But my friends, as always, I hope you all enjoyed the video. Thank you all for tuning in, and I cannot wait to see y'all right back here in the horror mine. Y'all stick around.